Hey guys, this is Sarah. I thought I would record just a little tutorial on how I made these fun little handmade bear mugs. I'm up here at the cabin in North Carolina, and I was inspired by this paw print that we got. It's our friendly neighborhood bear that shows up in the summers. So I apologize for the angle. This is the first time I've recorded myself doing a hand-built project. So anyways, I outlined this cute little bear from just a little thing that I had up in my room and cut it out with craft foam and rolled it into some pretty soft clay. Then I'm using cornstarch on top so that the roller won't get stuck. This roller is of mountains and trees, and I got it from De La Design Gifts. Her website, oh my goodness, you could spend so much money there. It's so fun to look around. So it does leave a little bit of a stripe at the top that I kind of smooth out with my rib, and just to get rid of that line. And this is just a small template that I had made, again from craft foam. I don't know why exactly I use it, because I never actually use it the proper way. I always go a little bit longer since I tend to like bigger mugs. But I guess it helps for the top and the bottom. When I cut the edges, I use a 45-degree angle with my knife. I just keep the same angle on both sides, and that gives me a nice clean edge to join the ends when I turn it into a cylinder. And now I'm dusting the cornstarch for a bottom. I like to have a little decorative bottom when I do hand-built mugs. Kind of makes it a little extra special. Smoothing the edges out just to make sure it's nice and flat. And then I use a cookie cutter. I believe this is a 3.5 inch cookie cutter. It gives me a nice round to start with. And this clay was pretty wet, so I ended up setting it aside to firm up just a little bit before I worked with it anymore. I actually had made another one with a mama bear and baby bear, which you'll see later, but I did it all off camera. You couldn't see anything. So you guys get to see the papa bear. There's the mama bear, baby bear. And there's a lot of fiddling when I do hand-built mugs, just making sure everything is smooth, everything is square. I'm using the template again just to make sure that the top and bottom are parallel. I decided they were a little bit too long, so I recut one of the edges. And now I take my pony roller and kind of smooth out the top rim. I tend to make the rims a bit thinner so it's nicer to drink from. And this is after I had let it sit to dry just a little bit, just to firm up. And I took some little stamps, and these little letters, again, are from De La Design Gifts. And I'm stamping in Mama for Mama Bear. Now I am folding it up into a cylinder, and I'm using my scoring tool. And I use just straight vinegar. I don't use slip, I don't use water, just my scoring tool with a little bit of vinegar. Sometimes I take the paintbrush just to add a little bit more vinegar if it's not moist enough. And now I'm just smoothing my edges, making sure that I have a good join. Again, there's a lot of fiddling, making sure everything is smooth and tight together. I take my little tool and I kind of rub the joint together. on the outside and the inside. I like to use this terracotta pot to keep the top round. Again, I'm making the rim just a little smoother, a little thinner. And at this point I flipped it over, and again I'm smoothing, and then I'm going to take my scorer and I'm going to score the bottom with my vinegar. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing to the bottom round. Adding a little bit of extra vinegar because it wasn't quite wet enough. Kind of makes its own slip. Line it up, and then I take my pony roller and just push down the edges. Then I flip it over and kind of give it a tap. Sorry for the shaking. Give it a little tap, and then I trim around any excess bits that are kind of hanging over the edges. By tapping it, it releases some of the slip that was created with the vinegar, and I'm able to kind of smooth it out with the sponge. I use my finger, I use the wooden stick, sometimes I use the paintbrush, whatever works. This is smoothing out the inside with the paintbrush. Okay, now I'm moving on to the handles. I do my handles different ways each time. I haven't really figured out a way that I like it best. I tend to like a heftier handle, so this was just rolled out. When I'm at home and I have more of my my stuff, I've got a handheld extruder that I use sometimes. I'm kind of going bare bones up here. I just brought some of my stuff that I use the most, and that can fit in our car. So anyway, I'm just stretching it and smoothing it out with my sponge. Normally I like to use my white mud tool sponge, but I forgot it back at home. So I'm just using my roller and I'm tapping the sides to get smooth corners. By smoothing it out, it does stretch it a bit. It also gives it nice smooth edges, so it'll feel good in the hand. And once I get it as smooth and the right length, I form it into the shape, and I kind of hyper extend it. I over exaggerate what bend I want, because I tend to notice that it opens up as it dries a little bit. So I kind of over bend it. Okay, and after I let those firm up a bit, you want the handle and the mug to be at the same moisture level to avoid cracking. And again, I'm using my scoring tool, and I'm doing both sides, and I'm pretty aggressive with the scoring. Kind of line it up, and I can see where I left a mark when I hold it up, and I score that edge also. Putting more vinegar on that scored area, and then I line it up and I look and I check and I line it up again and I look and I check. I can't tell you how many times I've put a handle on and then I've held it up and it's completely crooked. It's so frustrating. So now I just do a whole bunch of smoothing. I get the rest of that slip that comes out. I use my fingers a lot. I also use the paintbrush just to smooth out the slip that comes out from that joint. And then I use the sponge as well. Again, this is where the white mud tool sponge is perfect. It does a really good job at smoothing it out. And this is the time where you really want to look at everything and make sure that there's no fingernail marks or or big gouges. You can do a little bit more touch-ups later as it dries. Again, I pull out the terracotta pot to keep it round, and I made these cute little thumb rests to put on top of the handle. So I am scoring it and adding the vinegar, doing the same thing to the other side, and then giving it a gentle press in. And cleaning up the rest of the slip. If I have any extra score marks that are shown, I clean those up as well at this point. And I double check to make sure that it's round. I flip it over on top and then smooth out the bottom. So after I'm done smoothing out the bottom, I let it dry overnight under a cloth away from any drafts. And then I'm going to fill in this mama bear with Sax Jet Black Underglaze. I thought I would do a little Sgraffito on the bears. I found this underglaze works really well. It fires really nice even if you don't want to put a overglaze over it. It has a nice feel to it. And I'm just gently covering, trying to leave the imprints without any underglaze because I want to keep the white color. And there we go. It's dry. So cute, so cute. And unfortunately I wasn't able to record this Sgraffito because I had hurt my back, and I was just trying to get it done before the mugs dried too quickly. But I did sit here on the patio, beautiful view, while I figured out how to Sgraffito a bear, and a baby bear and a papa bear. And here is a quick video of them after I've Sgraffitoed them. The face was a bit trickier than I had thought, but I'm pretty happy with how they came out. So now I'm going to flip them back over and let them dry completely with a cloth over them, and hopefully my back gets a little bit better so that I can make some more. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video and was able to learn something. I'm open to any advice on better ways to video and teach. This is all kind of new to me, so I thank you for your grace and your patience. And I will finish this video off with a picture of my sweet little helper, Daisy, who's sitting on my lap as I record this. Thanks, guys!